All right, so this is just the Wealthy Educator coming back, and I just did an introduction video, and I really want to talk about one concept while I'm at it today. One concept that has really changed my life, and I think that if you are able to implement it or understand it and implement it in your lives, it will change your lives as well. And what that is the Hedonic Treadmill, also known as the Hedonic Adaptation. So I'm going to kind of summarize it to the best of my ability, but if you have the opportunity, just go on the internet and look up the videos, or either on YouTube, or just Google what it is, the Hedonic Adaptation, aka Hedonic Treadmill. So what my interpretation of that is that everybody has a baseline of happiness. So some people's baseline is right here, some people's is up here, some people's is right here. And no matter what happens in your life, that you will always gravitate back towards that baseline of happiness. For instance, if you graduate from college, you'll be on a high. If you win $1 million, you will be on a high. If you lose a pet or a loved one, you will be on an extreme low. And no matter how long that time frame lasts, you will ultimately gravitate back towards your baseline of happiness. And often you will see individuals who they might go out here and buy a really expensive vehicle or a really expensive house. They might overextend themselves during this purchase, and at the beginning they're super excited about it, super fired up, and ultimately that happiness wears off because it really wasn't happiness. It was just a quick thrill that eventually disappears, and you eventually go back to your original state of happiness. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that 85% of either 85 to 90% of your happiness is genetic, and then the other like 10 to 15% is something that really is decided or driven by life experiences. So there really are some people who are higher than others and some people who are lower than others as far as happiness is concerned. And believe it or not, when we go out here and make particular purchases and do those kind of things, it doesn't change our overall happiness. Matter of fact, it can make us even more miserable. And this is one thing that has driven my financial life. So I'm a notorious window shopper when it comes to homes, and I'll see a really nice house and I'll take the wife and the family, the kids, to go look at a house. And then when we're there, we're like, wow, this is the house. We really want this house. And get back, you run the numbers, and you're like, hey, is this really worth paying this amount of money? Doubling the current mortgage that we have. And then when we think about it, we're like, there's no way on God's green earth that this makes any financial sense whatsoever, especially knowing that that particular pride and happiness is not going to last that long. So ultimately, we have a home that fits our needs right now, and we don't need to justify buying a bigger home or a home in a different neighborhood, because ultimately we know that it's not going to make us any happier than we are right now. So what makes us happy right now is being able to provide experiences for our children and ourselves, and continuing to work toward being debt free, having about 5 years until our mortgage is paid off. Those are the kind of things that make us happy. And just knowing that going into more debt for a home is not going to make us happy, that makes us make the wise decision. So I continue to window shop. I looked at a house the other day and I said, you know what, I can't do it. So I'm probably frustrating to the realtors who I set these appointments with. I'm a realtor myself, so obviously I set the appointment and I go look at a house without bothering another realtor. But I don't know, when they see my name pop up, they're probably like, oh, him again. But yeah, that's what the Hedonic Treadmill is. It's just ultimately you trying to chase. It's like a dog chasing his tail, something that you'll never catch. So another thing to think about is, we do things sometimes to impress others. So if you were the only person on earth driving a particular vehicle or living in a particular house, would it make a difference to you? Just think about that kind of thing. And if your answer is no, then it should be the same with other people's hair. So other people here on earth, if you drive a vehicle, a really nice car that you overextended yourself for, it's not gonna make you any happier. I mean, it'd be a nice drive, a nice ride to work, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna really change people's opinions about you. It's not gonna make them like you anymore. It's not gonna make them like you any less. So whatever financial decisions that you need to make, it needs to be something that's well thought out. It needs to be something that, practical, something that really is going to enhance your life. Obviously, if you have 5 or 6 kids and you have a 800 square foot apartment, come on, it makes a lot of sense to upgrade your house to a bigger house. But don't try to justify things when you really sit down and look at the numbers and the situation, and it doesn't make sense. So just always be trying to do what is practical, and don't try to do what you think is going to make you happy, because when things are said and done, the Hedonic Treadmill really does hold a lot of weight. So look up the Hedonic Treadmill. There are a lot of illustrations on the internet, and I promise you, if you really think about the Hedonic Treadmill and you implement it in your life, your financial situation will improve quickly. And we'll also be discussing minimalism and those kind of concepts as well, because they're all intertwined. And when you start to implement these things in your life, the sky's the limit. All right, so that's just a short little video we're gonna do for today. Reach out, thewealthyeducator@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing your comments, and if you have